Anxiety is an emotion. Much like sadness, happiness, and anger, anxiety is an emotional feeling. It's also normal to feel anxious. It happens for everyone from time to time, and anxiety is part of being a normal, healthy human being. Sometimes, though, anxiety can feel really uncomfortable. Some people can find anxiety escalating and getting worse and worse over time. This can happen to anyone, and about 20% of people experience significant anxiety at some point in their lives. Anxiety and fear are closely related emotions. Fear is an uncomfortable but useful emotion we have when there is some form of physical danger or very clear immediate threat. This could be the fear you would experience when being attacked, or during a natural disaster, for example. Anxiety is different. It's still an uncomfortable emotion, but it tends to be triggered by a psychological threat or imagined problem. This is often related to the thoughts and ideas that go through your mind about what might happen in the future. Whether it's thoughts and worries about the day ahead, or how you might cope with that big speech you have to give, these are thoughts about a possible future, and they trigger anxiety. To really understand anxiety, we will cover three main areas. Firstly, what happens in the body during anxiety. Secondly, what happens in the mind. And lastly, common behaviours used to cope with anxiety. Because fear and anxiety are closely related, they have the same effect on the body, known as the fight or flight response. It's called this because it's designed to help us either fight the danger, if you need to protect yourself, or run away to live another day. It's millions of years old, and most animals have some form of fight or flight response. During fight or flight, the body prepares itself for action in lots of different ways. We don't have time to cover all of these, but we will explore some of the more notable physical reactions you might experience. An increase in heart rate enables blood to be pumped around the body faster, so that oxygen moves to the places it's needed. Blood moves away from the hands and feet and towards the core of the body and the large muscles. This means that all the oxygen in the blood is being used for action, but also means you might notice cold hands and feet, or pins and needles. Breathing changes to get more oxygen into the body. This can lead to breathlessness, choking, or smothering feelings, tightness, and pain in the chest. Blood tends to move away from the stomach and digestive system because it's not needed there in times of danger. This can lead to nausea or feeling like you have a knot in your tummy. Large muscles in your arms and legs will tighten up, which can be tiring work and leads to shaking. This can also be painful over time. Before we discuss the effects of anxiety on thoughts and behaviour, it's really important to acknowledge that this short-term anxiety is both normal and safe. It cannot harm you, but sometimes it feels like it can. As the fight or flight response is the body's way to protect you in times of danger, it makes sense that the mind would also play its part to protect you. A big part of that role is attention. If you think of your attention as a spotlight, it looks for and shines upon what you're focusing on, and everything else gets a little bit dimmer. When you're feeling anxious, the mind will move that attention around, trying to find the source of fear or danger, which can lead to difficulties concentrating. The spotlight keeps frantically moving around, away from what you're trying to focus on. If you find the source of anxiety, or what you think the source of anxiety is, then the spotlight stops and stays focused on that thing. This makes it difficult to focus the attention elsewhere, because the mind is trying to focus on the danger. For example, if you're trapped in a room with a bee buzzing around, the mind pays attention to that, rather than all the other sounds going on around you. If you have a big presentation or interview coming up, that's what the mind focuses on. It intrudes on your day-to-day thoughts and makes it hard to concentrate on other activities. Not only does anxiety change what you pay attention to, but it also changes the way you think and the type of thoughts you have. Commonly, people notice more catastrophic predictions about the future. We often think we know what will happen, and anxiety makes us think about how terrible that will be. As you can imagine, this fuels the anxiety more. Anxiety is an uncomfortable experience, and as humans, we're motivated to avoid anxiety or get rid of it. As a result, It's common for people to avoid or escape anxious situations. This avoidance can come in many forms, but it's important to note that this is often, but not always, unhelpful. It's often avoidance that leads people to lead a more limited life because of anxiety. By avoiding anxious situations, our lives can get smaller and smaller and smaller. Hopefully, this video has helped you to understand anxiety better, to realize that while it isn't harmful, it can significantly limit your life, and it is very good at feeding itself, leading to a frustrating, vicious cycle over time.